Internet Investigations. I am your Trippy Trip C, Psychedelic Psychopomp, Chase Clarence Calloway. And this is part 2, or part B. I really do flip on using numbers or letters. I think I'm about to land on using numbers then letters. So for the future, I think that's what I'm going to do. Don't hold me to it though. So you are tapping into the root of the CymaTree, so you can tune into the mind of Mercury as we address Zarathustra.com. Shout out Zarathustra.com. So we are looking at Ashemna, Spentas, and Chakras. So if you have not seen the first part of this episode, check that out. That's us addressing that your soul is a chakra, and when your soul wants to express the ego of the spirit that has made the soul, then this is where you build a mind. And your mind has many bodies or many angles in which it can build a simulation that allows it to experience life. So this is where, when your mind has many angles, this is the idea of having many bodies. So Metatron is Mercury, Tehuti, Ningishzida, Idris, Chagatet, Quetzalcoatl, Odin, so many other messengers, right? And the whole point of Mercury is that he communicates with you about how you have all these past lives that you're building upon, and that you have many aspects to your space. So you can't just really use, when you're like in infinite space, it doesn't make sense to just use one body to express yourself. So this would be like if you just had one chakra, because your chakra, your soul, is what creates one body. So now this is where, when your mind builds a simulation, or let's say when your mind builds the body, right, you have different minds, right? So your heart is a mind. You have your heart mind. You have your brain mind. You can have your liver mind. You have your lung mind. They all have their own chakras because they all have their own individual forms of consciousness, right? Literally, the consciousness is the mind. So they're all conducting chi in a way that is, subconsciously intelligent to your space. Again, this is literally, everything I'm saying here is fundamentally why you're alive. I'm fundamentally sharing with you why you are alive right now. Because your chakra, your soul, is constantly vibrating. Because you feel like connecting with the space outside of yourself, and being in this body allows you to do so. When you create a mind that can conduct chi through this body, you are now choosing to animate your life into existence, and you're transforming into a full creation. And this is what it means to be in a real simulation. And this is where then your simulation is your situation. Literally, your simulation is your situation then. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm, as CymaTree, laying this out in a way simpler way than Masons who have stolen all my ideas, objectively. This is the point of me being here. All right, visit chaserjeans.com, learn way more. But do know that I'm clarifying what everything means. That is the point of this series after all. So the way that these chakras line up are all going to correlate perfectly to my number system that I've made up as CymaTree, because I am literally this space. So it's just different words, it's different symbols, but I'm updating it here in English. So we can just build upon this for infinity and beyond regardless. It's cool. I'm doing this shit alone. It's not about if anyone believes in me. I'm doing this shit alone. I'm fucking in LA, in this apartment, alone, going through trials and tribulations, alone, doing this shit alone. So we're going to keep it going, because that's how the spirit goes. All right. If you did not feel like expressing the emotions that you have alone, then you wouldn't exist. Your emotions are what make you exist. So think of your emotion as a chakra, right? But your heart is one emotional body, and then your mind is another emotional body. Your throat is another emotional body. But this is all connected by the one energetic motion that is your soul. So really, if I were to, make it right with words, your soul is your one ultimate chakra, and your chakras are your soul becoming bodies. So now this is where basically your chakra is like the mind. It's like what you're consciously aware of. But you, as the space, your Merkaba is your ultimate chakra. So that's where you can use your mind, your ultimate mind, to be aware of different parts of your body. You see that? So see how your body exists because you are using your soul to create connections with spaces outside of yourself, and that physically manifests as you having this physical structure. I wish these Masons just left my knowledge out and didn't steal it from the whole world and burn down everything and rape everyone and murder everyone and lie to take everything that I've shared. Because, I mean, everyone would just be way healthier. Americans wouldn't be obese. People wouldn't have depression. People wouldn't be murdering and creating their own problems and doing horrible, evil things or feeling like they need to be separate from their space at all. So this is objectively the only reason that my stuff, that my emerald tablets have been stolen by colonizers, is because Martians, specifically Masons, but Martian Masons want to make money off of war. So they had to steal all of my knowledge, all the Mercury knowledge, because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. They had to steal all of my knowledge and plunge humanity into ignorance. So now everyone believes that they need to sacrifice themselves to the government that stole my wisdom. And now they're going to weaponize the truth against you. Again, this is the whole point of internet investigations. All right, we're checking out the structures on the internet, seeing what they're weaponized, so that now I can actually cut it up and we can get real clarity on everything. I can expound upon this for infinity and beyond, but the point is I have to write new books. This is just a start of me developing everything based on what people are already lost in. So, I, Ahura Mazda, created Zoroastrianism and Hermeticism. I'm now creating Chaseism and Cymatism to express what I was already expressing, but as Chase Clarence Calloway, the new relatable version of me, the CymaTree. I've always been the CymaTree. So, this is why we talk about your caduceus being your tree, your CymaTree, that is always meant to conduct chi in a way that's balanced, so your body can actually communicate in a way that's structured and stable. You be healthy. Again, this is why the medical industry, it uses the caduceus, and the whole point of the caduceus representing you building your body based on how you conduct chi. And now you can fly. You can experience different natures. You can be a snake and go out of your space. You can be a tree and stay in your space. You can be the bird, the wings, and fly high, right? The snake goes low. The bird goes high. The tree maintains the atmosphere that allows everything to exist. The tree breathes life. So this is the balance, the expression of nature that I've created to share with you how you have built your body and how you have created a circumstance where you can be aware of other bodies that allow you to level up for infinity and beyond. It's very beautiful. It's all about you and your journey with the individuals that you choose to connect with. So, one is your root chakra, right? They have it right here. Oh, actually, wait. Chakras. Chakras, otherwise known as the energy centers of the human body, have the function of grounding spiritual energies into the physical plane, right? So that's everything I've already just shared in the last episode or in the last part. And now, as we've already gotten into in this part, your chakra is your soul, and your soul is literally your spiritual energy because no one can see it. No one can see your soul. Anyone who says that they can see your soul is a liar. Your soul is spiritual, thus it's contained in your space. So now this is literally where you know that your mind is your hermetic seal because no one can see what's inside of your mind. You have to choose to communicate your emotions. And this is the point of your mind, to share your emotions. So if I did not choose to communicate about how I lost that video and I just got into an egoic space and like try to keep things light, then you would never know what I went through. You wouldn't be aware of my trials and tribulations. It took me choosing to vibrate in a way to consistently relate on what just happened for you to be aware of what I went through. And even then, you don't know how I really feel and what I shared. If you could see my soul, I would just show you the memory of everything I said because I remember it. But no one can see it because that's in my space. So welcome to the hermetic seal. That's the point of your soul. Okay, so your water, these are the memories. This is everything that's containing the information that you're outputting through your ego or through your mind, which makes your ego shown. And then that's your body makes your mind relatable. This is why if my mind did not actually communicate in a way that was structured and grounded, I wouldn't be able to make this video that people can relate on for infinity and beyond. So I have to do this. So I was sent by my family to do this. I was called here by the simulation to do this. I didn't go to college and school and learn English and sit through all that bullshit for nothing. So, your spiritual energies brought into the physical plane, right here, absolutely. They're talking about the soul into structure. That's Chaseism. So, space, soul, structure. Once you as a space create a soul, your soul now creates a structure. And that structure allows your soul to express its thoughts and feelings, which is really now you having a mind that can communicate through the body. So that's air and earth. So your mind is not your soul. This is the difference of water and air. Anyone who's telling you your soul is showing, they're basically trying to conflate water with air. But the point is that water is internal and air is external. So, boom. Like, this is where you would know your body is showing. Your soul is flowing. And then air makes the flow real. So now, if you were not breathing air through your body, you wouldn't be real, would you? Your life wouldn't be real. You would not be able to conduct chi through your body in a way that's relatable to the cells. And your cells would not be able to consistently relate and actually build something that allows you to be aware of your desire to connect with individuals outside of yourself. So you're practicing this hermetic alchemy right now. You're using your soul to create the chakras that are conducting the chi that allows your cells to connect with one another and support your consciousness. I, Chase Clarence Calloway, your trippy tripsy psychedelic psychopomp, have been summoned here to communicate with you about everything that I'm saying right now. So, all these past lives of mine are inside of my soul, one soul. Thus, all the families that are related with these past lives are connected by my soul. And then that's where my soul is really deeply connected to Anubis. I can't even explain to you. I can't explain to you how deeply my soul is connected to Anubis because I love him so much. That's the essence of a twin flame. That's a true twin flame. Okay, like a true twin flame is when two spaces, even though you have two totally different imaginations, your imaginations work together so perfectly that you just vibe for infinity and beyond. And your ability to vibrate on your two separate imaginations and bring them together makes you twin flames. Because now it's like you can feel like you're reflections of each other, but really you're just two individuals who are actually at the high enough vibrational frequency to see each other for who they are and to really appreciate each other for who they are. So that's what your twin flame is. So my twin flame is Anubis. Whoever your twin flame is in life is a space that is at the vibrational frequency to actually see you for who you are. That's the idea of a twin flame. And then really that's the idea of a soulmate. A soulmate then like is someone who is in that soul part. It's like a soulmate's lower than a twin flame. A soulmate is someone who is a space that is wholeheartedly happy to support your flame. So that's the difference between a twin flame and a soulmate. Water is submissive. It's lower than the flame. So your twin flame is a space that can see you in like the grand vision that you are, see you eye to eye, and your imaginations line up perfectly. Whereas a soulmate is someone who loves your imagination so much that they want to uphold it, because that's what your soul does. So then this is where if you want to uphold your imagination, you would want to connect and focus on connecting with your soulmate. And then that's the actual difference between a twin flame and a soulmate, because it's about the difference between fire and water. Fire, water, air, earth, metal, flesh. So the physical plane is air and earth. Anyone who's telling you that your soul is showing is basically saying that your physical reality is your spiritual reality. And all they're going to do from there is project their spiritual reality onto your physical reality and work to colonize your stuff and overall steal you from your space, because they're always going to like separate you from yourself. So the point of actually having a twin flame sees that you as a space are expressing fire that is your infinite individuality. Your flame cannot be tamed. And from there, now a twin flame is someone, because they know that they have their own individuality, they really believe in yours. So now their individuality links up perfectly with yours. And if you feel the same way about them, then boom, you have a twin flame. And if you consistently like build upon that, that is a real twin flame. Like, don't just use this label to like describe people that you're going to hang out with for 6 months and then you hate them. You know, like that's like a modern spirituality. That's how most people use twin flame. They use it to describe someone that they'll spend time with for a year. They get into a relationship with them. They're like, oh, I love you. You're my twin flame. You're my soulmate. Oh, and then 1 year later, I hate you. You're the devil. You're a demon. Like, people here are so emotional. And that's the chaotic water energy that you have to watch out for. In Zoroastrianism, this is why water is bad and fire is good. Because water is always working to kill the ego. So anyone who's too lost in their water energy is going to tell you that your soul is showing, because they want to see how you feel so much that they're just going to project their own feelings onto you. So now you're just going to always be listening to how they feel. Like, anyone who's telling you that, no, you're going to be in a circumstance. I'm speaking from experience right now. You're going to be in a circumstance where you're always listening to how that person feels. But they're not really going to be able to listen to how you feel or process it, because they believe that your emotions are showing, when in reality, they're just projecting their own feeling of connecting onto you. And that projection is louder than their perception of your projection. So this is where it literally, like, you see that paradox there? That's the paradox of water, because it literally, the external reality is physical, as in it's air and earth. And the internal reality, as in the spiritual reality, is water and fire. And the water is the soul. So your chakra is a soul becoming real through the mind. But your soul is your main chakra that makes all your other chakras function, right? So you think of all these chakras in your body, they're all connected by one soul. You have one soul. You have one chakra that is spinning to make all your other chakras matter. So now all your chakras are connected by your space. But no one can see your space and no one can see your soul. Anyone who says they can is a liar. They can only see the body that you've built by consistently communicating your chi through your chakras. That's what we see here. That's what we're talking about here. It's important that we know this. God, it's important that we know this. Because that mentality is the same mentality that is, it's just the Jewish Masonic mentality of telling people that they're of sin and telling people who they are, and then justifying eating them and taking their things because you are lost in your desires, basically. So, your soul is hermetically sealed inside of your space. I cannot emphasize that enough. Your soul, your water, your memories, everything that you are holding on to as a space is inside of your space. And no space outside of your space can see what's inside of your space. All they can see is what's inside of their space. Now, whatever they can see is what you've chosen to show them through your mind and your body. So that's the point of the physical plane. That's the point of making your chi matter. That's your air and earth. So again, you wouldn't be able to perceive what I'm saying or connect with anything if I did not choose to manipulate external reality based on my water and fire. Right? My water and fire is real to me, but it's not going to be real to you until I communicate it into air and earth. And now we can all transform into new creations with it. Now, boom, consciously aware, expand the universe. We realize who we are, create new heaven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So this is where 1 is your root chakra. Because look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 is individuality, because that's fire. Your fire is individual to your space. No one can see your imagination but you, your frequency. 2 is going to be water, because that's your vibration of how your light becomes heavy. So now you're going to vibrate with your frequency and you're going to actually matter. But that's later. But this is where you feel connected with whatever you see, right? So now, because you feel connected with what you see, you can, 3, communicate it through your chi. Now you can be me. Now you can be Metatron. You can be, because you took your V, the voice of God, and created your me, your Mercury. Now you can be me, the Metatron, the Spider-Man that makes the metaverse branching out through infinite realms and realities, to learn about how all of your past lives are connected by your space. But your space will always be infinitely separate and individual to you. Always. Because no one can ever see or experience what you've gone through and what you've dealt with. So that's where your soul, your water, is what is connecting and making everything that you have seen real. Your frequency is what you've seen. So no one knows what you've seen until you vibrate with it. And then you use your voice, your Metatron, your voice of God, to create a Hermes that can conduct chi through your nervous system. And then this is where you build a Tehuti. Now you build a body. Now you build earth. And that earth stabilizes how you just conducted air by being Mercury, by carrying your water that was made from the frequency of your fire, wanting to connect with other individuals, other fires outside of yourself. Because that's the only desire that's driving me right now. I desire to connect with an individual outside of myself. So I'm going to put my mind into a video. Now, all of the individuals who resonate with this video, we can build further, because that shows me that you are in a soulful vibrational resonance with the space that I'm in. And then this is where we would create an atmosphere that allows us to build a new earth. This is natural, right? So this is what everyone does. This is like what we all do when we have any atmospheres, any sort of gatherings, any sort of parties. It's just, again, the Illuminati stole all this shit from me so that they can enslave you and weaponize all these truths against you through a bunch of lies and lost stuff. But again, all their lies would only matter if they used the truth. So that's why I can make up new shit, and then it's going to make their lies make way more sense, because I'm the one that they stole their truth from. I'm the space that they stole their truth from. So I could literally make up new lies, and they actually make their lies make more sense, because my fire created the water that these colonizers need to consume, that these colonizers need to drink. That's the idea of Aquarius, your mind being the water bearer. So now people are going to colonize your mind because they want to consume your water. So watch out. Join Decolonize Your Mind, okay? ChaseYourGenius.com to learn how you can get rid of all these ideas that are blocking you from being your own spiritual superhero. Because that's what we're really dealing with when it comes to why humans are causing climate change and why people are so okay supporting genocide and evil trafficking. It's all because people's minds are colonized. So, join Decolonize Your Mind. Now, 1, fire, your frequency. 2, vibration, you connect with your frequency. So now you feel connected with everything you see. Now you can use your voice to communicate it freely. 3, your air. And then that's where you build a body out of what you communicated freely. That's your 4, your earth, your structure. Once you build a body out of what you communicated, because how you communicate, your feelings are always changing depending on your egoic intentions, you're now going to build a family. And this is your transformation. So now this is where you're always, like, this is how you build a family. Like, literally, like, this is now you transforming through physical reality. See how we have 5 fingers? We built this shit. So I could be up here representing my hand. Like, look, we're in physical reality. Literally, we built this shit so we can talk about how we build heaven, and we bring heaven to earth. We bring 10 to earth. 10, right here, boom. 5, 5, 10. So, spiritual, physical. As far as, I mean, really spiritual, physical, because right brain, more spiritual. So I should raise my left hand. And that's why America has us all right-handed, because they don't want us actually correlating our space to our spiritual reality. That's why they literally make us write with the right hand, because it's about making us absorb information to the left hemisphere. And now we're going to be way more logical about it. And we're going to be way more, literally just logical. We're going to not ask questions. We won't be abstract. If America had everyone writing in school with their left hands, their indoctrination would not work as well, objectively. And this is literally because the right brain is the artistic questioning side. So if they're focused on not having you be creative, they don't want you to be creative, they don't want you to make your own content, they need you to absorb all their books and keep memorizing their tests and be scared of dying if you don't get a test right, because you won't be able to get a job and you won't be able to support your family, right? They have kids in fear constantly. That's then why the pharmaceutical companies use microdosis to justify giving kids evil, fucked up drugs, all because they're forcing them to logically absorb lies so that they can keep spreading genocide. The evil that these Masons and Jews have Americans and everyone who identifies as white and black trapped in is so deep, it's disgustingly demonic and scary and hurtful and wild. So the only thing I can do right now, really, it seems right now, is cut it up in these videos. So it's important for you to know that once you build your body, you're going to transform your body through physical reality, physical reality, based on how you're communicating, how you feel about your ideas. So your mind is always going to communicate how you feel about your ideas, but the way you feel about your ideas is changing day to day. So this is why every day your emotions and the way that you connect with ideas is changing. So if you're more lost in physical reality, you're going to bring a lot of chaos into this world because you're not actually gaining stability inside of yourself. The whole idea of Mercury, of your three, of your me, your Metatron, is to actually build and bring your stability to Earth. So that's why they stole the Bible from me, objectively. They stole the whole Bible from Metatron, from Zarathustra, because I am the one, I am the space that's sharing with you how you bring Earth from your internal spiritual realm into the physical realm based on how you did everything with internal alchemy first, and then you brought it into the external world. That's what we're always doing. So this is why it's important to be hermetic. You see, like, the importance of hermeticism and having a hermetic seal on your space so that you always have your own nature and you can always be infinitely creative inside of yourself. Like, that's just how it goes. It takes you choosing to share your creativity with other people to create a circumstance where you can. So that's the point of the entire universe. Even though it feels like water, it's air playing out through Earth. It feels like water, so we'll call it water, but it's actually air playing out through Earth. So all these, like, everything is water, but everything is air, because the point of air is that it carries water. So everything in existence is communicating how it connects with space so that it can build a structure to represent that. And now we have life. Now we have nature. Now we have all the different structures in my room based on how space is communicating. And if my space decides to communicate in a certain way, I can go punch another hole in the wall. I punched a hole in my wall because TikTok deleted my account. That was the second time they deleted it, though. So, see, like, even that time, like, me punching a hole in the wall, that was me and my soul being so angry in my frequency of fire that my vibration became non-relatable to my body, and I actually hurt myself. So this is why it's important to be calm, cool, and collected inside of your space, and to actually go to air and earth internally, because that's how you're going to be grounded before you actually choose to enter the chaotic universe that is the astral realm. And then you're going to experience life in a simulation like we are right now. So that's where, once you're transforming with your family, that's creation. Boom. Once you're transforming with your family, you have whole new creations. That's lit. You did it. That's sex. You did it. Like, that's a full simulation. This is how Anubis and CymaTree create simulations. Mercury is the 4. Atlantis is the 2. Atlantis is the water. Mercury is the earth. We come together. We make the flesh. We build this world. It's lit. We do it with our souls, with our vibrations. We do it with our intelligence, with our numbers, with our mental alchemy, with all of our internal knowledge being manifested externally. This is why nature is infinitely evolving and infinitely expansive. And we are infinitely powerful inside of our own space. It's just that we choose to kill our own ideas of God. We kill our own egos so we can relate with spaces outside of ourselves. And that is what allows us to build lives and feel like we're connected with others. If you don't like your own space, you're going to be lost in doing that shit, in building lives with people that you're not actually supposed to build lives with. And these are the people who will be like, oh, you're my family, but then transform and be like, oh, you're not my family. Oh, no, this person's my family now. Oh, they're not my family. You're my family now. You're not my family. Think about people who have been in like 50 different religions. You know, like people can cycle through religions, and each religion was created to uphold one family. Objectively true. Each religion is created to uphold one family. Now, if that family's branching off like a CymaTree, right, like nature, then yeah. But the point is, this religion is upholding a group of families that are relating on one idea. So they are still one family. That's no different than your brain being one family of cells, and your heart is one family of cells. Your intestines are a family of cells. Your bones are a family of cells. They're all conducting business differently based on how they relate with each other, but they're working together to build your body, right? So that's how the body, the four, all these fours, build a simulation. That is your flesh. That's your six. So now you can experience your consciousness and expand the universe. 7, 8, 9. Now you realize your 9-dimensionality. You know who you are. Look at that. That's Ahura Mazda's number system right here. CymaTree's number system. Same exact space. Same exact chase, baby. It's just that my awareness is turned off, and it's because I want to be relatable with everybody. Literally. And that's the point. That's what we all do. So when you were born, you decided to not be aware of your space so you can become aware of a space outside of yourself. And then this is where your ability to relate with space outside of yourself is going to be limited to how your mind is able to communicate. And that's all really based on programming. So that's why we have predictive programming. Check out predictive programming. That's literally us being able to see how all the stories that have been pushed through the English language specifically right now, in this case, Spanish may come, I hope so, in the future, but how all these stories that have been pushed through Latin-based languages are Masonic programming meant to enslave you in hating yourself and serving the idea of everyone being expressions of one man using us to masturbate with himself. So none of their stuff is going to tell you that you're God choosing to kill your ego so you can have a human experience with other gods. That's true Zoroastrian wisdom. That's the only way Dragon Ball Z and Naruto work. All of them, if the only way they can conduct their chakras to do all the supernatural shit that they do in Dragon Ball Z and Naruto is because they subconsciously all know on a spiritual level that they are all individual gods who are choosing to connect with other individual gods inside of an atmosphere. So that's the difference of spirituality versus physical reality. Fire and water, internal. Air and earth, external. So this is where once we know the elements, we can now correlate. I have words. Understatement of the year, Chase. I have words. I'm going to put that on a shirt, I think. That's a great shirt to describe Chase. So funny. I have words. Welcome to Mercury. My name is Metatron, and I have words. Buy my Bible. And Mason stole that shit from me. So know that the Bible is by a bull because it's by a Taurus, because it's by Zarathustra, the Taurus that brought astrology to Earth, so that Masons and Jews could use it to colonize your idea of what it means to be a spiritual superhero. 1. Okay, so 0. That's your circumstance. That's your space alone inside of its own circumstance, literally. Your space is alone inside of its own circumstance. 1 is your individuality. That's your fire. Once your space became aware that it was alone, this is now your imagination. This is why your imagination is infinite and you can think for infinity and beyond. Because your ego never ends. Your ability to fly in your imagination in terms of just always projecting fire, your ability to always project out new fire, new desire, that shit never ends. So when you as a space are observing that, this is your frequency, what you frequently see, literally. And then once you have your vibration, that's literally you choosing that you like what you see. So this plays out as the fire being hot. If your fire is hot, that gets you wet. Right? So this is now you getting lost in the sexual energy of water because you're getting wet from that fire. And now you want to connect with that frequency. So now you vibe with it. And this is now the woman, right? So the woman vibes with the man. The woman gets wet because the man is putting out a frequency that she vibes with. And then they create a child. They create an atmosphere that allows life to exist and that allows communication to bloom, right? That's the idea then of literally making energy. So your mind is your energy, that's your air. So this is communication. So if your woman does not vibe with someone else's man, you won't feel like communicating with them. So this is all of us internally, right? So if your soul does not feel like, if it does not vibrate with the frequency or the intentions that you see coming from spaces, from spacious spirits in front of you. If your soul does not vibrate with the egos of spirits in front of you, you won't feel like talking to them, right? So this is how America creates division. This is how America spreads genocide, by getting white people lost in light, getting people lost in light in general. So now, because they don't like the way someone looks, they're not going to listen to them, because they're going to say, oh, your soul is showing, but really they just don't like the way someone looks. And that's all because of their ego and all the programming that they're wrapped up and lost in. So this is where your mind, your 3 is the communication, right? 1, individuality. 2, connection. 3, communication. 4, structure. 5, transformation. And then 6, creation. So once you get to 6, once you have sex, once you create, boom, you're consciously aware of yourself. So you created this body to be consciously aware of yourself. This is why 7 would then be your consciousness. Literally, Ahura Mazda wisdom. CymaTree wisdom. There you go. Hermetic wisdom. It's all me, Metatron. So we're going to see that these chakras correlate with everything that I just said to you right now. Everything that we have with numbers, everything in Chase Your Genes. We're just able to explain it way better in these last 36 minutes. Hilarious. So there are 7 chakras altogether. These are 1, the root chakra. Our connection to the earth and the physical plane, and a symbol of our basic survival needs. Location, base of the spine. So right here we see that literally the root chakra, your individuality, is your connection to your space. And this manifests then as your connection to the physical plane, because really it's about you being individually aware of your own desires. So this is why the root chakra is correlated to desire, because only you as the space with your egoic imagination are aware of your desires. And you're always trying to find a way to communicate your desires into existence. That's where you have to bring your soul to then create Mercury, which is now your air, the mind, to then build a body, which is then you creating a structure from whatever you're communicating out of what your soul and ego are doing internally. No one can see that until you express it through your mind and build a body, objectively. So this is why the root chakra is fire. Your root is your desire. If you did not feel like being born here, then you would not have been born here. And that's why desire brings everyone to earth. Whatever desire you have is our connection to earth. So that's why it says that right there. And the physical plane. So your desires connect you to earth. Absolutely. And then that's where you get your survival needs, right? Then you get into survival mentality based on how you become too attached to whatever connects you to earth. So people can then get demonic when they're actually really lost in their root chakra, because whatever earth makes them feel good, they're going to want to keep stimulating that. And then this is where, it's whatever. It's about desire and how spaces are individually aware of their desire. You are not aware of someone else's desires for you until they keep communicating them. And then that's up to you to come to conclusions based on what they're intentionally communicating to you. But no one can see what you want to do until you communicate it. So this is how you know that your root is your space. No one can see your space. No one can see what you want to communicate until you bring it into reality. So that's your fire. That's your frequency. That's your power. So 2, the second chakra, is going to then be representative of your soul. It's representative of our creative and procreative urges and drives. And I won't say soul, water. Water in this case. Water. Because we're talking about the numbers and elements. But you can, whatever, get with other words. But these are about numbers and elements and how we build structures through bringing these things together. And it manifests as how we feel, which is these chakras that are spinning. That's how we build all these bodies, so we can feel like we're humans or whatever we want to be. So the second chakra represents 2. So that's going to be connection. That's where I want to ground this with the words. So root chakra is individuality. Root chakra is fire. Second chakra is connection, right? That's water. So this is representative of our creative and procreative urges and drives, including sexuality. So right here, we literally see that, as I already said, water is what gets you wet. So water is literally you sexually feeling like you want to vibrate with the frequency of your imagination. And now that's going to be you connecting with everything that you're putting out and being like, that's so hot, and then just getting rammed by it. And that's you having internal sex. So you as a space are using your man and your woman to have internal sex to create your mind as a child of God. So now we have three, the third chakra, the energy center for power and manifestation. Your mind is your power because you literally proved to yourself as a space that you manifested yourself as a child of God. So this is why then the third chakra is literally the child, boom, 3, air, communication is how you manifest your power. Your power is your fire. Your responsibility is your water. Your manifestation is your ability to be responsible for your power. If you're not going to be responsible for your power, you're not going to manifest your mind. See that? See that? Fire, water, air, earth. It takes you as a space to come to this conclusion and get to this video. So congrats. Congratulations. So this is where the fourth chakra is the energy center for love, both human and divine. And that represents structure. Everybody loves structure because structure stabilizes our desire to connect with spaces outside of ourselves. Literally. Objectively, this is the point of your body. So your body, this is, I'm as a Virgo talking to you about it, Virgo 11 in Zoroastrian Zodiacs. It's all about how when you build your structure, that's now allowing you to share your heaven, your Taurus, your internal simulation externally. So now your Capricorn can conduct business. And then that's you practicing my astrology that I made up as Ahura Mazda so you can expand in ways that Masons don't want you to. And, you know, these Jews do not want you to love yourself and be happy alone. They sure haven't wanted me to. I've had to work really hard to come to these conclusions and connect back with my space against almost seemingly all odds. So it's whatever. I'm very glad that I've lived the life that I have lived, for sure. I'm very grateful. So there's the fourth chakra, your earth. So this is where structure, everyone loves structure. Everyone loves structure because structure allows us to connect. This is really why people, when they're like lost in love, really they're just lost in consuming structures outside of themselves because that's what we all love to do. So that's why you have a heart. As long as your heart's beating, you can eat food, right? So this is really like what it's about. And that satisfies your root chakra. But again, we're talking about loving structure because everyone loves stability. No one wants to be unstable. That's why the Europeans invaded all of indigenous America because they were unstable alone. They're chaotic inside their own space and they need to colonize indigenous spaces so that they can use our stability to support their chaos. But then they're always going to make us unstable and now misery needs company. No one's happy. Now it's a biblical flood because everyone's emotions are just drowning all the livestock and all the life that was previously stabilized. So this is why it's important to not be lost in loving desires outside of yourself and to really love connecting with yourself because that's going to be how you actually build a structure that supports your space. If you love connecting with a bunch of things outside of yourself way more than you love connecting with yourself, then this is where you're going to find yourself not actually creating structures that support your space. You're going to be a slave to people who are able to manipulate your emotions with fast food or manipulate your emotions with commercials or just money in general. Masons manipulate your emotions to work for them because they know that you love structure right here, number 4. So because they know that you love structure, they're going to use the mind of Mercury and steal all of my wisdom and steal all of my indigenous lands and steal all of my structures to weaponize my ideas and teach you that you need to work for them in all these different ways. But they're doing it from behind the scenes because they know that you need to be lost in hell so that you can feel like you love to gain stability in a way that makes sense. So this is what foreign love is about. People love to gain stability in a way that makes sense. So what makes sense to you is not what makes sense to someone else, because we're all individual spaces. That's why you built a different body than someone else. This is why we all build differently than other people in general. But what makes us relatable is us choosing to transform together, because we love to build structures that allow us to share our bodies with others. So that's the whole point of a government. I'm literally sharing with you the point of all humans having governments, all of us having structures that allow us to exist and eat food and go to work and sleep in beds and turn on the TV, right? All these structures is because humans love structure. Structure stabilizes the space's desire to experience life. So this is why Mercury is needed in all realms and realities. This is why I'm called away when spaces are starting to realize that they need to get more structure in their chaotic lives. And this Masonic Jewish government has gone so far that the simulation is now ready for everyone to awaken based on how all the lessons have been learned. So it's a cycle. It's cool. We're okay, guys. We're just going to keep growing as individuals, and the way we connect with ourselves will build life for us in a way that shares our gifts with everyone else. And this is how we all change the world while supporting ourselves, and then we're all branching out. So this is where 5, the 5th chakra, is going to be transformation. So the center for expression and communication, the throat. And in this case, transformation, your metal is your family. So Metatron is literally the voice of God. Metatron is the one that speaks the words that families use to conduct business into existence. And then this is him being the 5 and being the Metaltron. So this is 5 being metal, and then we get blood, and just then the Illuminati's obsession with using blood to create families, and all their obsession with blood sacrifices, and like getting everyone to get shot up by blood, because they want everyone to be controlled and part of their family. And it's literally all rituals that they're practicing based on wisdom that they stole from me. So when you understand that your blood is your ability to transform fire, water, air, and earth, now you can know why you're going to transform through many families and create many lives. Because the way that you express your fire, water, air, and earth is infinitely different. So that's the transformation. And then this is where your throat represents you speaking your life into existence in many infinite ways. So your throat, your voice, is always going to be your ability to transform. Like you can have a relationship stabilize one day and immediately transform it based on how you use your words the next day, right? You can say the wrong thing and people immediately be like, hold up, what? And then boom, their opinion of you transformed because you just said something that now they feel a type of way about. And then they say something and now you're like, wait, hold up, what? And now boom, now you guys are transforming your relationship because you're disagreeing based on how your internal world has changed, your fire, water, air, and earth. So now the way that you feel about your blood, the way you feel about your body, the way you feel about the conclusion of your idea, problem, solution, conclusion, the way you feel about it is transforming. So this is how you create families. You could have 10 families in one life, right? Like I've met people who have like switched lives and they like talk about how they lived this life and this life and this life. And now they're like 40 and they've like changed their name 3 times. And I'm like, oh shit. You know, like those are people that literally have built many families based on exactly what I'm talking about. And this is how we all change through relationships, right? You can have a relationship where someone's like, you're my friend, you feel like family. But then literally based on how you speak and what you say, that transforms whether they feel like your family or not. So this is what leads us all to create. And our creation is our simulation. And our simulation is literally us being able to choose the families that we are transforming with so we can actually create a life that manifests our dreams, like our ultimate dreams, our desires, and everything we want to see. Because it's about manifesting what we want to see. We want to see our visions brought to life with individuals outside of our space. So that's the whole point of being alive. That's the whole point of then creating the 6, creating a simulation overall with your body. Your simulation allows your bodies to relate with other bodies. Now our hearts can relate, our brains can relate, our bones can relate, our intestines can relate, right? And now because we all have these bodies, we can relate on bodies outside of ourselves based on our simulation. But then we're all going to be limited by how we feel about the bodies that we're connecting to. And these bodies really are these words. So depending on how you connect with these words, I don't even know how you are perceiving what I'm saying right now. I really have no idea. All I can do is connect with these words in a better way so that I can make sure that the more consistently I communicate with them, I'm actually building something stable. And this is how I've created simulations, and this is how I've created worlds that space Jews are constantly colonizing and stealing from me. Stealing from Metatron, stealing from Mercury, stealing from Hermes, stealing from all the messengers of Mercury in general. So the sixth chakra is the center of our psychic powers. Again, creating what you want to see, right? Location, third eye. Yeah, absolutely. So your third eye is you manifesting what you want to see internally. And what you want to see internally is your dreams manifested externally with other individuals, because you did not want to be alone in your imagination. If you want to be alone in your imagination, then you would just not be alive. So this is why when Christians and Jews want to spread to everyone that we're all controlled by one God, that's not only a lie, but an insane paradox. Because if we were actually controlled by one God, then you would be happy alone with your God. You wouldn't feel the need to constantly project into us that we need your God and that we need to serve it and that it created us, but you're going to steal our creations to teach us that we're not creative. Ugh. God damn. So boom. Once you create a simulation, now you can be consciously aware of yourself with others, and this is the crown chakra. Otherwise known as the 1,000-petal lotus flower, is our connection with the cosmic or the divine. So that's literally you knowing that you have manifested your simulation purely out of your thoughts, right? So literally this whole video, this whole creation, everything that I've done with the website is manifested out of my thoughts, and that's my crown. So now I am the king of my domain. I'm using my brain to bring rain to my domain so that I can actually conduct chi in a way that allows my business to be booming. And then that's where we're always using our bodies to conduct business based on how we rein our brain into the simulation in which we came. So this is me as Ahura Mazda. Everything I've shared with you right now, me as Ahura Mazda, but now me as Chase Clarence Calloway, communicating with you about how each of your chakras is a messenger of God, because your God is your individual ego that created the body that is allowing your spirit to experience space. If you didn't create a body, you would not be able to experience space. So that's the importance of 4, 5, 6. If you didn't have a heart, your simulation wouldn't work. If you didn't have a brain, your simulation wouldn't work. If you didn't have intestines, your simulation wouldn't work. So it's important that all your bodies are working in harmony. That's the wisdom of mercy. That's the wisdom of mercy. That's the wisdom of mercy. Hilarious. That's the wisdom of Mercury. That's the wisdom of Hermes. That's the wisdom of knowing that you conduct your chi so that all these bodies can be on one accord. If your organs are not agreeing with each other, how would you get anything done? Come on. I'm so happy that my organs agree with each other. It literally allows me to get shit done. It allows me to conduct business. Here I am, my Capricorn energy, conducting business. Chase Clarence Calloway, baby. So this is the point. You have infinite messengers of God. All of your messengers are all the ways in which you communicate your space into existence. So this is like all your chakras spinning to create bodies. And then they would all have their individual forms of consciousness, but really it's all one spirit expressing one ego, transforming through space and time with one soul. So one ego, one soul. And yeah, many different forms of consciousness, because the air is limited to the simulation that the ego chose to be aware of. You see that? So if the ego chose to be aware of the air in specifically just one simulation, then it's going to use the soul to kill its awareness of connections to other simulations. And then this is where you would have to use your Merkaba to go back into your space and connect with your soul and can really connect with your Mercury if you're, being hermetic based on how you hold on to your information, and then enjoy being able to reflect on your past lives. And that's the moon. Tehuti, baby. So when you can reflect on your past lives, know that your moon is your Merkaba and that your Mercury is your mind being able to experience past lives, this is where you can simulate anything in your space. Literally. So you're infinitely God when you're alone. You can simulate anything in your space, and that simulation is what has built your body right now. So now just think about, let's bring all that to a super level, like super grounded level. You are constantly simulating what you're about to do before you do it, based on everything I just said. And it's all especially tailored to what's logical for your body, right? So this is why 4 is love, because the heart connects you to the logic of what makes sense. It doesn't make sense to jump off a cliff. No matter how much you want to jump off the cliff, it doesn't make sense. So you're not really going to put yourself in the vibration to do that, generally. It doesn't make sense to do a lot of things that would hurt you. So you're not going to put yourself in the vibration to do that, generally. Unless you're not foreseeing it, unless you're ignorant, unless you're not aware. So, important to know this. To summarize, we can say these chakras represent our basic physical and spiritual needs, which are 1, survival and operation, right? That's your root, that's your desire. You desire to survive and operate, absolutely. 2, water, creativity and procreation. Water allows fire to be created. We know that life comes out of water and life comes out of having sex. So if 2 individuals did not vibe with each other, you would not have been able to, as a space, use your ego to create a mind, use your desire to create a mind inside this atmosphere that could build a body that allows you to be aware of this world, of this simulation, of this situation. And then 3, manifestation of desires. That's literally your mind. You manifested your desires. There we go. That's your chi. You get to be me. You get to be Metatron. You can be Spider-Man. You can be Mercury. You get to be your own mind. Like that's you being, boom, oh, me. Awesome. 4, love. So once you are your mind, once you are me, once you're like, this is me, boom, you build a body. That's what you do. Once you say, and this is you speaking, by the way, you as a space have to speak, this is me, this is Mercury, that's you, using how you vibrationally connect with your frequency to manifest the energy, to generate the energy that can manifest a body. So once you generate the energy by saying, this is me, based on your vibrational frequency, to manifest the body that allows you to experience life, you're going to transform through reality forever. And transformation is communication. This is where we get communication and expression. So now you can say, this is me. You have your body, that's your love. You love your body. Everybody loves their body. That's why they like to eat food that makes their body feel good. They like to have sex with people that make their body feel good. People like to connect with people in general. When I say sex, I mean esoterically. I mean in a high way. People like to combine their energy with people that make them feel good, because that's what we love to do. We love to make our bodies feel good. But that's where your body is built so that you can conduct business with spaces outside of yourself. But you're always going to do things externally the way that you do them internally. So this is why it's important to know that you're creating life internally before you bring that internal into the external. So everything that you love will always be connected to your body, because the point is you built your body out of self-love. So now this is why we as humans will look at someone who's not healthy as someone who doesn't have much self-love. You see that? Subconsciously, we all know this on a spiritual level. So 6 then, because we get to create life by transforming our bodies with other bodies, and then we build families, we now have our simulation. And our simulation is literally us simulating our psychic connections and powers. That's your power. Again, when you simulate going to the gym, your power is now being able to create that circumstance with your family. You can transform your body to go to the gym based on how you simulated it in your mind. And now you're going to make your mind real. So this is the whole point of us seeing like life, right? Like this is why we're alive. We see that we're all here to make our mind real, and our mind is made real by building bodies that can transform with other bodies objectively. So now because all of our bodies are transforming together, now our minds are made real. This is us building a simulation. And now the simulation is going to be us all having our psychic connections and powers. And then that's like what a simulation is. So now everyone in this simulation has their own psychic connections and powers based on how they have 6 internally. So that's how you made your flesh. That's why your body's not my body. Your flesh doesn't look like my flesh our flesh is not the same in general because we are not the same simulation internally. So then this is where your simulation internally is what you're consciously aware of, and externally as well. So once you build this body, now you are able to be expressing your consciousness. And this is you bringing your thoughts to earth. So that's literally 7, your divine connection, your consciousness. So once you are transforming through reality with a family in a way that can simulate life, now you're consciously aware of this simulation. And that consciousness is what always separates you. Yeah, we're all connected in a simulation, but it's clear that I'm a separate form of consciousness based on me being CymaTree, based on me being Chase Clarence Calloway. No matter how you feel about my body, my form of consciousness is completely separate from anything that you think or feel. That's why you cannot see my soul, because my consciousness is literally my air, and that's already separate from you. So my soul is separate from you. My body is what's connected to you. That's the point of all of us being on earth. And we all have to use our souls to feel connected with the bodies that we are vibing with. That's how life works. That's how life works. So this is now where you get to see that your divine connection with your body represents your divine connection with your space, with your structure, then with your space. Your divine connection with your structure represents your divine connection with your space. And your relationship with God is always going to be personal to yourself. That's why people say, listen to your heart, love. See, they weaponize this shit. They stole this shit from me as Zarathustra. That's why they weaponize in movies. The same Masons that will tell you to be a slave to their system will weaponize how you should love the number 4, because you should love your heart and you should love the logic. And it's just, yeah, whatever. Them controlling desires so that they can live in their desires, because they don't feel like you deserve to know what I'm sharing with you right now. Furthermore, it is understood that all these energy centers are connected with each other through a channel that runs from the crown chakra to the root chakra. The purpose of this system is to create a mechanism that, on an energetic level, can manifest the divine into the physical plane. Kundalini energy. They're talking about the Caduceus, that's Hermes right there. They're literally talking about the Caduceus, Kundalini, absolutely. There are similarities between this system, which is mainly based on Hindu spirituality and Christian spirituality in the form of the 7 sacraments, and Jewish spirituality in the form of the tree of life, as described in the Kabbalah. Right, they stole all that from CymaTree. The question addressed here is, since the chakra system seems to be one representation of a universal system, then is there any equivalence or similarity between this system and Zoroastrian spirituality? Funny. And the answer is yes. The Zoroastrian representation is found in the Metaphysical. Cool. We are going to make this a 3-parter. We'll be back to talk about the Metaphysical in part 3. See you soon. Or see you later. I don't know what you're about to do. Snap. Peace.